Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and um today, if you've been keeping up with my crazy life, I wouldn't trade it in for the world though. I would like to take the sexual abuse back, but still, um, regardless of how ugly and grotesque that shit is, it made me who I am today. It has given me a fucking incredible strength that I didn't ask for, but I accept. um and it's just put me in a position where not just the sexual abuse, just the hardships period, the good times, all that stuff, has put me in a position to be who I am and to have the power that I have inside of me. And I'm completely grateful that God chose me. I realize that now. God chose me. I probably chose this path. Ain't no probably. I did choose this path. However, when we're dealing with life, God gives us free will. And even though you might have selected a certain path, like it was no way for you to know every little single thing that was going to happen, because you can change your mind and veer off this way, and someone you interact with can change their mind and veer off this way. So what I like to think about the sexual abuse is to the extreme that it was, I really don't think I would have signed up for that. However, if I did, I have survived it, thank God. If I didn't, free will is, and I don't think God, that sexual abuse shit is crazy. That's not even a part of us. However, it was given to us. Like I said, in college, I've studied anthropology, and tribes that are literally still holding on to their principles, and that has pretty much been mostly untouched by white society, and it's just as simple as that. Not every white person that is born into a white vessel is twisted, but however, we cannot ignore history and see what has happened. So yeah, the people who were able to maintain their foundations, you see a reoccurring theme. It doesn't matter what religion or God they serve. Most of them serve nature. That's God to them. The solar system, all of that is connected, and duh. Like duh. If God created this, duh. So and it ain't no if, God did. So there, that they don't need, that ain't even like a issue in their community. But what I find to be interesting is that ain't nobody tolerating no sexual abuse. Ain't nobody tolerating you messing with their woman. And different tribes have different, rules. Like you have some tribes that are polygamy, practice polygamy. And literally you have some tribes that have, like, I think it's polyandrous. I pronounce words different. I'm Southern. Even though Pimp C said Virginia wasn't a part of the South, baby. I'm a part of the South. Like, I'm a part of the fucking South. So, that's when women have multiple men, which I don't know. I couldn't be that woman. I would not respect none of you niggas. I ain't gonna even hold you like that. I wouldn't respect none of you niggas, and that's just my personality style. But that's why I can't be in the opposite one where you take many wives, because I wouldn't be able to respect you bitches or you niggas. Like, the whole house would be in an uproar. Like, everybody would be pissed off because I'm pissed off because I don't like sharing, and I'm not doing that. Like, it's not in my human design, even though I'm not human. I'm a spiritual being in this vessel, which is a beautiful vessel. Thank you, God. I'm happy with the vessel you picked for me. So, yeah, like, so you have so many different rule sets and stuff, but people literally follow the code. If you do not get in line, you got to go. And one of the things that I realized that in cultures like that kept their foundations, like, and a lot of people have like ignorant mentalities that these cultures or tribes are like brutal and all that stuff. Like a lot of them are really like just symbiotic and have learned their ways and learn how to get along. But one thing they don't tolerate is stealing. They don't tolerate cheating. And it's just, within their little rules, because different communities have different things. What I have found is that some communities do not accept LGBT standards, but there are some that do. And there are some that say, hey, look, we can accept this, but you got to be over here. So like there's different standards to stuff. But there is none of that backstab. It's kind of like it reminds me of being from the hood or being in jail, or like all these different oppressive groups that white society had created for melanated people. Like it literally, we kept our tribal ways, like making our own rules and laws within our communities and all that stuff. And unfortunately, what has happened is like I said, sexual assault and sexual abuse is like a no in these communities. That's a fucking no. Lying, cheating, and stealing is really much a no. Like, so all these things are no's, but then you get whatever these things are, because I really don't know what to call it. I hate calling it just white people, because there are white people. Just like there are, we raised my daughter like this, like you got people of all colors, all different backgrounds, all from all different regions, and you got some dud ass motherfuckers in them, period. So don't think just because you see a black person that they safe, or vice versa, just because you see a white person or Asian person or whatever, Hispanic person, like they're safe. Like, no, that's not how that works. So I hate just overly generalizing it, but however, a lot of white people drank the Kool-Aid or whatever was in y'all parading around as y'all. So y'all got to deal with that. Like, we didn't do that shit. So we ain't do that shit at all. Like, we did not introduce sexual abuse and all that wild stuff into our system. That's y'all culture. And I'm tired of people saying Black history is slavery. Black history is not slavery. Literally, Black history is before slavery, so pre-slavery. Black history is how we survived slavery. What happened during slavery is white history. So you need to rebrand that, recheck that, and redo that. Like, because that's not our history. I don't even know how I got here, but I was talking about the things that happened to me, and that's gonna happen. So if you're new to following this this channel, I definitely dropped some jewels in there while I'm talking about regular life stuff. I dropped some actual jewels too, so if you can pick up on them, that meant the message was meant for you. If you can't, that means you ain't there yet. So and that's okay. Keep working if you have time. So anywho, yeah, I'm just at a place where I accept my position in life. I accept who I am in life. I've worked very hard to get to this point. Today is literally a year to the date where I lost my partner of 11 years. And like, when I say my partner, that was my right-hand man. That was my partner in crime. My partner in trying to fix the inner issues of a bad bitch. Like, like all I can hear is the Rihanna song. Like, you needed me. I didn't need you. But that wasn't true. Like, we both needed each other. So, but we had to learn the lessons we had to learn through each other, and that's why I will always hold space for him within me. So I I do warrant people who are facing abusive relationships, please get help. There are hotlines, there are people there willing to help you, willing to help you escape. Get help, seek therapy if you're into therapy and mental health. That's exactly what I did. I have been transparent about going to psych wards and doing counseling and therapy for 7 years. And I also added additional layers of support by going to like group therapy, where it was literally set up by people who were literally going through the same thing. So this is not your therapist, this is just a regular set of people who are literally going through the same thing as you are. I found that to be more beneficial than anything, because you get to realize you're not alone. That helped me a whole lot. There's other stuff, like I've mentioned, coda. So if you struggle with codependency, this is usually children who grow up, and it's not just the all to be all, but this is usually children who grow up with alcohol, like, so their parents use substances. You typically tend to become codependent because you learn to you're growing up quick, and people don't want to acknowledge that when children who are born into addiction, or like their household is riddled with adults using drugs and substances to cope, that those kids are literally raising themselves, and that's sad, because that's the whole reason you have parents, is so that they can help you and guide you. And usually those kids are parenting their parents, or trying to love their parents, because they see their parents hurting and there's nothing they can do about it. So coda is definitely a nice place to start. For me, coda is if you just simply want to vent. You don't want nobody's input or feedback. You just simply want to vent. I found that really good once I was starting to really acknowledge that, like, look, I am codependent, and I was codependent on the end, because it goes on both ends. If you believe in narcissism and empath, that's basically you're at these two extremes, and you're trying to get here. You're trying to get in the middle. So an empath is they people tend to look at being an empath as like, oh my gosh, it's this greatest gift. And if you're an empath and you have no boundaries, it is the most miserable gift to have. And empaths who had to find that journey to find boundaries know exactly what I mean by that. That it is literally this fine dance you have to do throughout life to find balance. And the same goes for a narcissist. You literally are at this extreme of kind of like, so an empath is kind of at this extreme, like, I just want to give everyone love because I wasn't loved, and I just see me and you, and I just, I feel your pain, and they really do, and we really do, and we really just know how it feels that no one was there for us. So we try to be there for others. And we usually tend to not have the proper boundaries. So you're trying to work to this point to get the proper boundaries and be balanced. Whereas in a narcissist, same probably origin story or similar origin stories, severe abuse. And literally no one was ever there for them, so they realized no one ever is going to be here for me. And anybody that probably comes in, all they're going to do is fuck me over. So I'm going to fuck you over before you fuck me over, and I'm going to try to get you before you get me, but I'm not going to let anyone in because it's going to hurt. And they typically do let people in, but that's kind of like their facade, but they typically let people in. And if they get too close, they usually self-sabotaging and all that stuff. I have played at both ends of the spectrum, because that's one of the things that's not talked about enough, is that everybody has narcissistic tendencies, period, the fuck, point blank. We all have narcissistic tendencies. Not everybody has the ability to be an empath, and that's for goddamn sure. You can see it in the world. If they did, the world wouldn't be going this way. But everybody has some narcissistic tendencies. And a narcissist can actually have had some empathy in them. However, severe trauma probably knocked that shit out and they don't care. I will say I had a weird situation where my narcissist definitely was capable of empathy. However, definitely chose to walk on the side of it was fuck me, so it's fuck you. But I will say with me, it was actually a weird dynamic with me. I was able to get in there and find, like, he was very, like, a lot of people didn't realize just how kind and sweet he was. Like, he was a very kind and sweet person at his core. But when you go through severe abuse, and a lot of people don't realize what severe abuse is. Like, they think that abuse has been so normalized that they think just because they went through it and they still living, that the next person abused isn't actual abuse. And that's what this new generation is going through. Older generations are looking at them like, well, we had to go through this and y'all got it made. And you're not realizing, like, they're literally feeling the pain of your past generations plus the pain that they're feeling now, of what they're going through. So everybody goes through stuff and everybody handles it different. Stop fucking comparing trauma. Stop comparing trauma. Stop comparing trauma. That's why not enough parents are able to validate their children and their children's feelings, because they're stuck in, well, when I was born in 1930, my toe got chopped off and my mama ain't take me to the doctor and I still lived a, gangrene almost set in, but I'm still here. So I don't want to hear you crying. And the whole time you could be getting butt fucked by Uncle Buck and don't nobody care. So because you don't feel safe enough to come to them, because when you have been coming to them, they literally ignored, your feelings. So I would really love for the older generation to embrace the new generation a lot more when it comes to what's going on, what's wrong, why do you feel this way, but it's hard because they don't have no fucking feelings, because, it was kind of beat out of them, which is another thing that was a part of whitewash history. Now, however, corporal punishment was in a lot of our cultural norms, but no one was beating the fuck out of their kids. Like, nobody was beating the fuck out of their kids. I want to repeat this. Nobody was beating the fuck out of their kids. Literally, when you think about, like, gladiators and all that stuff, like, who the fuck thought of, like, fighting each other to the death? Like, who thought of that? Like, that's so barbaric. That's so fucking barbaric. And I'm not saying it wasn't anything that existed before then that wasn't barbaric like that. But I'm just saying, traditionally and regular, average, and I'm saying average, like when you add all those numbers in and then you divide it and you find the average, and averagely, people won't doing all that crazy shit for entertainment and thrills. It's very twisted and sick. And I know it's a part of our culture now, so it is what it is right now. But like MMA, like, I could fight like an MMA fighter, but I would choose not to fucking watch it. Like, I would choose not to watch it. I do not want to watch it. However, if it came down to it for me to have to protect myself in a survival situation, I could get down, like, combat-wise like that, but I don't want to watch it. Like, it's just not for sport. Like, if I wanted to protect myself, cool, but that's the stuff that has been put into our culture that wasn't necessarily there before. So when we're talking about, like, whitewashing history and whitewashing culture, it is not just taking a pen and erasing our history, which you really can't do because our history is within. You feel it, you dance it, you speak it, you do it. We are our culture. Whatever that looks like for any given community, that is the culture. Because I hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, well, drug dealing and all that stuff, like, that's not our culture. Guess what? It's our culture for some people. It might not be your culture. You might have grew up in a better, safer neighborhood. But for children like me who grew up where this is the music and that I listen to, because not only is it the music that I listen to, it is these stories that I relate to because I live, breathe, and see this shit every day. So that means that this is my culture for this moment, time, and history right now. Like, this is a part of my culture. Now, what ends up happening is people end up glorifying culture and also trying to profit off of the culture. Like, I remember seeing on the internet, it was a white lady who opened up I think it was a cookie shop, and I don't remember, like, it might have been Oregon, I can't remember what place it was, but the heifer definitely was cultural appropriation. Number one, she didn't look like she spent the day in her goddamn hood. And I know some hood ass white people. And she did not look like she spent the day in the goddamn hood. She looked like she might listen to it at home. And that's fine, right? It's fine that you want to listen to it at home. You relate to it. It resonates with you. Sometimes it resonates with you because it's in you. But you didn't get to live it this lifetime. However, if you didn't get to live and experience this, don't profit off this. If you ain't do it this lifetime, don't profit off this. Leave that shit alone and let somebody else profit off of it. And for real, if you ain't realized it or not, the real people that really come from that shit does not glorify it. You know why they don't glorify it? Because they know they had to do some fucked up shit out of survival. They know that that wasn't the right way, but they wanted to get to the right way. And the only way to get to the right way was to go through fucking hell. Like, so people like me don't even glorify that shit. Like, we trying to get away from it. We use it as a tool, and we want it the same way y'all wanted to whitewash history. We want to whitewash that. Like, we want to remove ourselves. However, if you are a hood person and you make it out, one thing you realize is that shit is in you. Yeah, you might learn how to move different, and you might even know how to speak different in different settings. Because you had to do what you had to do again. It's like these steps of survival mode, but that not the drugging and the drinking and the selling and all that stuff. That's not in you. But I like to think that the hustler, that strength, that grit, that if you tell me no, I'ma find my way. If you try to give me a roadblock, I'ma bust them goddamn walls down. Like, that beast, that dog, that fight, whatever you want to call it, it still stay in you no matter which rooms you enter. And I don't know. I appreciate my experience. I appreciate my hard times just as much as I appreciate my good times. I've learned my triggers too. Like, so a trigger for me, for real, my biggest fucking trigger was my mother. My biggest trigger was my mother. Like, that was one of the people that could set me back. And I knew another person who was like that. I know another person that was like that, and she ended up getting locked up. We grew up together. She was way older than me. Me and her sister was close, but I looked at her as a sister as well. But we grew up together, and her storyline, she ended up in prison, but I watched her mom be very abusive to her. I mean, her and her sister. And everybody watched, and it's like, we gotta stop watching. Somebody need to step in and protect children, period, point blank. Somebody need to step in and protect children. Like, if you see children being put in situations or you see odd shit, like, speak up for children. Children are to be protected. Children and animals are to be protected. Women are to be protected because women protect the fuck out of everybody. Women are to be protected. Black women are to be protected. I'm just start saying melanated women need to be protected, but black women most of all need to be protected because black women have fought for all of you bitches. And I don't care if you don't identify as a bitch, but today I'm talking to all you bitches. And black women have not only fought for other women. We have fought for other men. We have fought, we fought for our men. We fought for the LGBT community. We have fought for everyone else. And yet and still, we are the most unappreciated, the most hated. And it's like y'all hate us because y'all hate our strength. Well, keep fucking hating. Choke on it. Like, because we not going to be not strong just because you the fuck don't want to step up your mediocre life. Like, step it up, bitch. We were trained and conditioned when we came out the womb that we had to work 1,000 times harder than you fucking... You know what? I'm going to say this nice. Because I do have a vile mouth, and I'm sorry if in the past I misled people and I came off as nice. I'm not a nice person deep down inside. I like to think of me as that movie In Too Deep. I got fucking in too deep. I'm not a nice person with the fucksoever. I'm not a nice person. And yes, I'll say things very, very bluntly. And sometimes I can say them where, like with kids, I have way more patience. With adults, I have none. I feel like if you're an adult, I have no patience for you. And that's my core true self. Like I said, if you probably met me while I was in too deep, you probably think I am just like, oh, all smiles, rainbows, and unicorns. No, I don't know what to say and how to say it sometimes. So that's why sometimes I just would let people do what the fuck they wanted to do, because I was going to end up saying some shit that was going to tear you the fuck apart. And then I was going to forget that I said it or how I said it. Because to me, I said it nicely. And then to you, I just called you a dumb bitch. So I be trying to like not say the shit. So, but now I really have returned back to my core self, and I would love for, everybody to return back to their core self and just be yourself. Like, I had to deal with being oppressed and being depressed and not being able to create the way I wanted to create, not being able to express myself the way I wanted to express myself. Like, literally can't say cuss words. Well, in the past you couldn't say curse words because it was deemed unprofessional. Like, and y'all need to pick up a book and realize all this shit is a social construct. It is about your intent when it comes to these words. And that's why right now other people who are not black can't say nigga, because the intent that was created behind that word, even though the origin of the word actually isn't as derogatory as we think, but because the intent behind that fucking word was derogatory, that's why y'all can't say it right now. Maybe things will change. Because at the end of the day, we all niggas, and I'll call a white person a nigga real quick. I had to call one of my coworkers a nigga because he was tripping. Like, he was I look at racism in different tiers. Like, so you got blatant racism, you got that passive racism where it's like you're racist, but you don't know you're racist. You're racist because you haven't done the work to break out of that the matrix. So you're racist based on that. Like, you're racist because you don't even realize you have privilege over other melanated people. That's passive racism. And then you have, so those are the ones that say I'm not racist. And then or what is privilege? Like, go pick a fucking book up or just look at your life. Like, look at your life. Like, I literally had to fight tooth and nail for every fucking thing. Everything. And literally. And someone else who would have less intelligence than I do, less work ethic than I do, literally because they are a different shade of color than I am, could literally climb way higher than I at a way faster pace. Like, period. Like literally had 3 degrees by the age of 25. Never got any notoriety, never made the newspaper, never nothing, none of that stuff. Like none of that stuff, like never got any accolades for it. And I do want my accolades, like, and I'm gonna start telling people like I did that shit with a child while I was pregnant. I walked around campus until I gave birth. That same semester that I gave birth, I had her in the hospital. I was doing homework in the hospital while I was in labor. I was looking at stuff for schoolwork, and I was just like, you know what, like I ain't feeling well. I ain't going to class today. But after I ended up having her, like I was literally in the hospital on my laptop after I had her doing homework. Cause that's my work ethic. Literally probably spent 2 days in the hospital because I had a natural birth, and came out and took biology exam and aced it. Got an A. Damn near a perfect score on the test. So those things, I didn't even talk about them much for people to know about it, right? So I want to talk about how great I am. I'm a fucking beast. Like it ain't nobody like me. And I used to feel like, oh well, the stuff I'm doing, like it's somebody else out there doing it. It might be somebody else out there doing it similar, or yeah, I would say similar. But for me, I didn't have a support system. All I had was my mom, which we can see, you know, she was tearing me down. So like my support system is literally trying to bring me down. So it's like a weight. I have literally an anchor tattoo with her birth date on it, and it says I refuse to drown. And because I feel like the more attached you are to people, the more they have the ability to bring you down. And I felt like she was one of those people where it's like if I did what she wanted me to do, it was cool. But if I went against her grain, she'll tear me down. Even if I didn't go against her grain, just say she was having a bad day, or she saw me too happy, or she tried to get me to do some extra shit knowing that I'm already exhausted because I'm working jobs and I'm going to school, and then I'm coming back home to be a mom. Literally was coming back home to be a mom. Literally would watch my uncle, because she would watch my child when I was at school, and then I would come back and watch my child and my uncle while she would go to work and she would go to school. Literally was doing her work with her and for her sometimes. I ain't gonna even lie. When she was in school. So like not only was I and she was definitely more financially stable than I. So she had that over my head. She was more financially stable. She's a Taurus. I do not equate success to money. She does. She loves and values money. A lot of people do. And but she was more financially stable than I was. Me, I was just making ends meet on my end. So she used to hold that over me. And that's literally, I tell you not, like, I'm literally at my full circle. So this started with her, and it's gonna end with her. Once, you know, God prepares my table and sits me at it, I literally don't look back. I literally have made amends with myself, because I was thinking that I would have to make amends with other people, and literally no. Considering what I went through and the things I've done, I'm not a perfect person. I've probably, you know, pissed some people off and done some things, but never what was done to me. Never how it was done to me. I never intentionally tried to hurt other people's feelings and all that stuff. Now, as a child, like, you know, like we all do dumb shit and pick on people, but I got picked on so much that I typically did not. But I do remember one instance that I did pick on somebody, but one of my old coaches, she checked me and got my shit together, and I'm happy that she did. Like, we need people in life to check us and tell us, hey, look, what you doing this foul? What you doing this foul? So that was that. And I'm happy she checked me to this day, because it was like, yeah, I don't want to be that person. So I can literally look back on my life and be okay and at peace with the shit I've done. What was eating me alive was the shit that was done to me. I was wearing other people's guilt. I was wearing other people's shame. I was wearing other people's problems, period. And it's like, y'all need to deal with your own shit. Y'all need to live and work out your own sins. And matter of fact, you need to stop trying to put them on me, because I can't help you. And then typically when they do that, like, they gotta keep doing it. It's like a drug once again. Like, you gotta keep finding people to put your shit off on. And it's like, deal with your own shit. Leave good people alone, because you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. Like, the jig is fucking up. I ain't in too deep no more. So, you know, I don't know. It made me think about, like, where is Carmen San Diego? Because she is me and I'm her. It's a lot of things. I am. That's all I can fucking say. Yeah, I am. I'm a lot. But yeah, like, my support system literally was my was weighing me down most of the time. Caused me harm most of the time. So, where other people had babysitters and stuff like that. When I was in school, I had to pay. I remember I was in graduate school. Dante got locked up. His brother had passed away, and I had just put. I want to say it was like almost. It was over $2,000. No, it was actually $5,000, and his brother was supposed to pay me half, and but his brother passed away. And so, like, I think I've stated this in another video, is like, I felt like that would have been trifling while the family's grieving, to be like, Leasta told me if I went half, he would give me, half the money back. And me and Charlotte's over here struggling, and but I didn't, but God sent me people anyway. But I just remember during that time, I was student teaching, which anybody who has student taught, or even if you just done practicals in any public service area, when you're in that's like literally having that job. And I literally had a job working too, on campus, and I had to end up stopping that. And then I had a job that I was working with at Charlotte's old daycare, which kind of like helped me out to like pay for her daycare. So I would go to class. Look, I was a motherfucking Caribbean island person. Like, I literally had multiple hustles, period, the fuck, point blank. Literally had multiple hustles to try to make ends meet. That's why, like, I hated for myself that I felt like I was lazy once I was dealing with depression. Like, I literally thought I had become a lazy person. Like, you know how they worked slaves to death, and then they, called us lazy because we didn't want to work with them no more for free. That's what I was going through. Like, I was going through, like, I was worthless because I wasn't able to work. And because that was my identity, right? My identity was to hustle and work. But literally, like, just got broke down. Like, I couldn't do it. But anyway, I've digressed. I was literally hustling. So I remember, like, my rent was full rent. It was full rent back then. And like I said, I had the car note, because my car had broke down. The nigga at the shop I took it to had basically, like, mangled my shit. Like, my parts were in my car seat. And all he needed to do was fix a timing belt. Like, he fucked me royally. And didn't give me no money back or none of that shit. But God don't like ugly, right? So, yep, he don't. And he ain't too fond of cute either. So some of y'all just got double shit to pay, because some of y'all cute and ugly. It's pretty, but I'm gonna say cute. But yeah, like, so I ended up buying the new car, thinking if I got the new car, that meant that I was gonna have stable transportation. And they make the new cars trash. I would say get you a certified new or something older, because these new ones, they slapping that shit together. I ain't gonna say I would never, but it's certain companies and people I would never buy from for new cars. And Jeep, you're one of them motherfuckers. Count your days. Count your days, Jeep. Because I used to love Jeep. Jeep was one of my first cars. Matter of fact, it was one of my first cars because I had a Barbie Jeep as a child. Probably another reason you bitches hated on me, but that was when I was real young though, so a lot of you bitches didn't even know me. But yeah, I used to have a Barbie Jeep. It was pink. I used to love pink as my favorite colors, but then that was like every girl's favorite color. So then, you know, like I don't like what everyone else likes. Like, you, if y'all want to like some shit and everybody want to be on it, that is a quick way for me to be like, all right, let me find something new, because I don't want it. But yeah, like pink was my favorite color, so I always had like this I don't know, like I always wanted this Jeep when I got older, and it was a Cherokee. I always wanted one, and I did want other cars too. But like I'm definitely a girl that's a car person. Like I like cars, but I ain't like how men is. Like I don't want to work on that shit. I love like admiring a sexy car, like, and riding in it, passenger side, or sometimes driving. It just depends. But yeah, I got a Jeep with 20s. And I paid for like, I probably paid for, I would say even more, like probably like 2/3, or I would say she probably paid 25% of the car, which was like, I got it for a deal. I went off JD and that bitch was just on the lot, and I was like, this God put this here for me. Like he knew I would see this and be like, yes, this is the car. Like I ain't had to see nothing else, and that one was like, okay, I want this. I don't care how I ride. I don't care how I drive. I want this one. And you would think because my stepfather was a crackhead, he would have kept the car up, but he didn't. He really, really didn't. And anytime he worked on my car, he made me pay. Like, bruh, how you gonna just all fucked up? Like, I'm telling you, like when I say I had to get it out the mud, not only you gonna sexually abuse me, like you gonna charge me to do every fucking thing that a father is supposed to do. Like, what the fuck? Like, just when I say God gave me some tough battles, he gave me some tough battles. So it's no wonder that I did not value myself, right? I was taught as a child not to value myself. I was taught as a very young child not to value myself. But anyway, back to the Jeep. Literally was like, I used to call her Black Beauty, because she was all black. She had the rims and all that stuff, and it looked like somebody had a sound system in there. But like the tires, because the rims were like so big, they used to rub, so the tires would go out quick. But that could have been like, you know, the male figure that was in the life could have, you know, suspended the car, or took, you know, me to a shop to get the car suspended. Like stuff just went wrong with the tires a lot and all that shit. So like I always would break down. That's why I hate cars. Like, but I'm the type of person too, like I knew like no one was ever doing my oil changes. Like I literally would take my car to the shop and get the oil change done. So like literally we had to figure out all that man shit by myself. So I became my own man. And it's unfortunate because a lot of women, and a lot of black women too, go through this. Like I said, I didn't have nobody. I did have some friends, but they were young. Like, so nobody really. And I'm just the type of person that like I grew up where my mom did not beg people for shit. So I literally grew up like learning that I had to figure that shit out on my own. I couldn't beg her all the time. I had to figure it out on my own. My real biological father was not very helpful whatsoever. Like literally not helpful whatsoever. It was like very much when he felt like coming in, like he literally would come around while I was at school. And that was another thing. Like I used to tell my mom, like, why would you even let him, I'm young now, like why would you even let him come to your door if you know I'm at school? Like what the fuck do y'all need to talk about? Because he not helping you take care of your child. Like, and that was one of the rules I kept with my daughter's father. Like, bitch, I would be a motherfucking fool on Mars to let you even sniff me sniff me, let alone like, the fuck? You ain't taking care of your child? Why the fuck don't even have a conversation without your child name in it? Like, I literally constantly redirect that man like, bitch. Like, literally. You here because of her. Like, and like I said, God, I move out the way. Because what are you here for? What are you here for, sir? But no, I could never. I could never let a man come and then like you gonna it's a lot. Like I said, it is no wonder my self-worth was here, because literally the decisions that the people God sent to take care of me made, literally indirectly and directly told me I want shit, showed me I want shit. So I'm happy that when I was a teenager, I realized that they didn't define who the fuck I was gonna be. I still was moving from a strong place of anger that I did not know what to do with. So I still needed some help, right? So, but I will say this, at 16, probably about 16, 17, I mean, I was well-rounded, period, at any age, but I feel like I really evolved into a space of like knowing my worth. I wasn't gonna tolerate shit from people, and I wasn't gonna take shit from people anymore. And then, but I was angry, so I was coming from a place of anger, and it's not just being angry. Like I deserved to be angry. I just didn't know what to do with that anger. Put it like that. I didn't know what to do with that anger. So like fast forward to today, I'm in a space where, look, anger, the fuck, you supposed to be here. But let's figure out what we're gonna do with you. And if you want to make a video where you want to cuss people the fuck out, that is a positive outlet. Literally a positive outlet. Stop letting people tell you that you shouldn't be angry at people who done hurt you. Now, what you shouldn't do is stew in it for goddamn years. Like, that will ruin you, and that's you giving power to them. However, initially, if something happens, sit with your shit, feel your shit, validate your shit, and figure out what you can do positive with that shit. Like, I do poems. I do this content for other people that are healing in private. Literally was called to heal publicly, because a lot of people are healing in private, and they are going through these whirlwind of emotions and these whirlwind of feelings, and they literally don't have a good model of what that's supposed to look like, because a lot of people are putting on facades and acting like the fuck is supposed to be rainbows and unicorns, and half of y'all ain't even really went through this shit. A lot of y'all went to school and literally got a textbook and was taught this shit. Like, I literally learned psychology in school, but learning psychology in school and actually having real life experiences is two different things. It's two different things. And I'm not saying that a person can't go to school and learn psychology and help somebody else. You can. However, sometimes you need help from people who have actually been through it. And sometimes it's not even that they're actually doing something physically to help you. Sometimes it's you need to see that raw emotion is fucking okay. And sometimes people need to mind their motherfucking business when they don't know those scenarios and situations. Like, if you have never been sexually assaulted, you should never talk to a person who's been sexually assaulted about how the fuck they should feel. Because you just don't even have that capacity to navigate what they're feeling. Now, you can give them kindness and kind words. You can give them guidance through their feelings, but you should never be telling them how to feel, or you shouldn't feel angry, or forgiveness is for you. Like, what if I'm not ready to forgive yet? Even though I have forgiven me, because I held a whole bunch of guilt that like it was something wrong and tainted with me because it happened to me. So I have forgiven myself for being so hard on myself. But them motherfuckers ain't giving no forgiveness. Like, no, the fuck you not. I wish you pain and suffering, bitch. Like, and then after that, like, when God ready, I wipe your ass from this. Like, don't come back. Period. The fuck, point blank. No backsies. No take backsies, no backsies. But before you go, I wish you pain and suffering. People be like, you shouldn't wish that. The fuck, you mind your business. Stay in your lane, because this is the lane I'm playing in. This is the lane I'm playing in. I wish it. I hope it. I pray for it. God don't tell me no. He listen. And it's his choice whether he want to do something about it. But play in your lane and stop telling people what the fuck is right and wrong. If that don't feel right to your spirit, that don't feel right to your spirit. It feels great. Feels great over here. I have no guilt, no remorse. What the fuck I look like having guilt and remorse for somebody who fucked me over? I'm sorry. Nah. See, that's why the fuck we stayed in slavery for so long. And I am not a slave. I am not a slave. I am not. I want to repeat. You can take me and shackle me up today. I am not a fucking slave. Mentally, this gonna always be free, bitch. You can never take my mind. Shit, life proved it. You can't take my mind. The shit that didn't happen to me, you can't take my mind. You can't take it. And if you try to get up in here and try to figure some shit out, you're just gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. And that's all I can tell you. You can try to pick this brain. You might get lost. You might get trapped in here. So play safe. But stop telling people and stop listening, because maybe the people who be telling people stuff, maybe these videos won't find you. I hope it do. Maybe it's too late for you. That's an even better thing. But for the people who actually are going through these things, like this severe trauma that no one understands, like when you tell somebody that your mom or your whole family has been out to get you, and they be like, well, why would they want to do that? And they think you're the problem. And it's like, you're actually not the problem. You just actually are literally being torn down by your family because they see how great you are, and they couldn't do it. So who do you think you are? And I am one of those people where I'm here to tell you that don't put up with abuse just because it's your mother. If your mother or father figures or mother figures, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, friends, anything you can think of, shit, if the dog bit you and it shouldn't have bit you, get the fuck rid of it. Get rid of these things. And it's easier said than done. I know that more than any fucking body. I know my spirit squad is like, bitch, how long was it gonna take? How long was it gonna take for you to figure this out? But give yourself grace and patience with cutting people off. I will tell you this. I'm the type of person that I can take a whole lot. It's this black void in here that can take a whole lot. So once you get to the point where I can't take that shit no more, it's a done deal. We will never see each other. Matter of fact, I don't even I'm going to keep that to myself. I'm going to keep it to myself. Because that's mean. Fuck it. All right. I don't even like spitting on people. I think that's the worst thing you could ever do. Is to spit on somebody. I find people who spit on people nasty. However, I'm at the point in life, if I done told you to stay the fuck from my space, stay the fuck out of my life, and you decide to cross paths with me, I'm gonna Tupac your ass. I'm not gonna even hit you. I just might Tupac your ass. And then I'm lying anyway, because I'm not gonna do nothing. That's just how I feel. And sometimes you gotta get that shit out. If that's what you're thinking and that's what you feel, say that shit. Even if you're in the room by yourself, say that shit. Shit. Say it. I will say be careful with saying you hope people die. Be careful with that one. That's the one you want to be sure of. But other shit that you really know you don't want to do. No, you want to do it, but you don't want to do it because you're disciplined and you have restraint. Say that shit out loud. Get that shit out. I don't really want to do it, but this is what I feel. You can feel a lot of things and not actually do it. However, I do got ancestors and people that don't play about me. And I ain't talking about people that you see. I'm talking about spiritual wise. Like, they don't play about me. So I gave a lot of people warnings and they kept fucking with me. Like, that shit was good to go. A lot of people cheated me out of money. Even after I sat there and made videos and clearly looked like to the average person I was losing my motherfucking mind. I wasn't losing my mind. I had already lost it. like I had lost it when the fuck y'all thought I was okay. I was on a journey of, I had found my mind and I was trying to bring it back to me. Like, I was trying to get it back home safe. So, yeah, and y'all still tried to take advantage of me. Like, you're a weak bitch. Like, you are a weak person. To try to take advantage of somebody you think is vulnerable. And I was vulnerable in a sense, right? Because I was journeying back to myself, watching you motherfuckers fuck me over. Like, that shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. You thought you was gonna finish the job so I could be stuck with your ass. No. No. I'm happy God made me me and God made them dumb. Like, and I probably do sound crazy to the average person, but guess what? I'd rather be crazy than be stuck with that shit. Like, if that's what you call regular or you call, being normal, all these words, right? Because I do believe in norms. I do believe in averages. However, I think I'm a little. I think I'm a whole lot above average. Like, I'm at the top of the pyramid right now, as far as my consciousness, and I always was. Like, since I was a little kid, I was always at the top of that little pyramid, and a lot of y'all wanted me right there at the bottom, which y'all that didn't want to do hard work. It's not even that you deserve to be there in the sense that you were not worthy originally. It's just that you don't want to put forth effort. Some of y'all don't want to put forth effort. Some of y'all have like really great potential, but you'd rather be brain fried, cooked, and live it in hell than to try. Shit, I knew since I was 4 years old I was gonna get out of this shit. Like, I had conversations with myself, conversations with God. I used to talk to God since I was a little kid, and I've said that in videos. Like, I always talk to God. I remember being 4 years old, and I think this was even before this might have been after the sweetheart, please be quiet. She is crying to get in here, and then ain't gonna do nothing but get on my nerves. Y'all just gonna have to hear her cry, because at this point, like, she chose to be out there. I closed the door, and she need to stick with her choice. Like, that's the problem with some of y'all. Y'all don't want to deal with y'all consequences. I've had to deal with mine. I deal with mine every day. And I think that's another part too about life. Everybody wants the high life, but nobody wants to deal with the consequences or the responsibility that comes with that. And for me, I was living a low life, dealing with all the consequences and the responsibilities, and my rewards were like nowhere near what the work I was putting in. So like, I was working some astronomical, like, I was putting in a lot of energy and a lot of work, and my rewards were not nearly enough to make the average person want to continue. And I think that's the beauty about myself, though. Like, this determination and this faith. Like, I know that if I stick through this, like, it won't be long. It won't be long. Like, I'm Princess Tiana. But I'm not kissing no more frogs. So I'm just using that as an example because I really am done with Disney princesses. I am a queen. I was born a queen, and I'm even more than that. So if you can catch my drift, I'm way more than that. But I think that's something that I like to identify. Like, I feel like I'm all animals, but I like to identify with the gorilla. Like, I love the gorilla, like, because the gorilla is the beast of the jungle. That is, they always talk about the lion. Nah, it's the gorilla. The gorilla lions are cool too. I like all animals. Matter of fact, my animals, like, I always, like, people want to know like favorites of people stuff. Like, I have no favorites because I like all things. I love all things. I can find the beauty in all things. So really don't be having like favorites, but I will say like elephants was one of my favorites, koala bears. Sea turtles was one of my favorites and still are, because sea turtles literally, if they make it from birth, they literally most likely get to live like this long life. So I always identify with the sea turtle because I was like, bitch, I'm a sea turtle. Because from the moment I was born, the seagulls, the snakes, the everything was on the beach trying to eat me. And I'm just trying to get to the goddamn water. And it's like right now, I'm right there. I almost taste that fucking water. Matter of fact, I'm in the water. It's an illusion. I'm in the water. Success is a thing based on what you deem as a success. So for me, I'm in the water. I'm swimming, and I'm safe. I got sharks on my team. I got mommy water on my team. Like, I'm safe. I got the whole ocean. Like, I'm there. It was like, just make it to the ocean, baby. Like, just make it. And I'm finally in the ocean, and always was though. But I had to realize that, right? So I had to realize that, and I'm just thankful. I hope this finds somebody who can actually like keep up. Because I find videos on YouTube where it's like, I wonder how many people understand this person. Because I understand this person, but I don't think a whole bunch of people will. And guess what? A whole bunch of people are not supposed to. So yeah, like, I literally identify with all things. And besides, these viruses, I don't know, I call them entities, but entities is a little too vague or broad. I would say viruses cannot survive without a host. Viruses cannot survive without a host. So if you think about like succubus and energy vampires, like anything that requires to take and drain from another person, it doesn't matter whether you're thinking of it in energy or resources, all that stuff. Like, if they're very much dependent on having someone else attached to them in order to be okay, literally, you're a virus. You are an invasive species. You are not us. You are not like us. And jokes on you. But I'm happy to be at the consciousness and the awareness that I am. I am happy that I feel very much confident and comfortable to speak the way I fucking want to speak. I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. I will say that I think dealing with the sexual abuse was probably like my hardest battle. That was my hardest battle, and it was my hardest battle not because of just the acts. That was tremendous in itself. Period. It was hard for me because when you're sexually abused, it's almost like that person takes parts of you away. It leaves you shattered. It leaves you very broken, feel like, inside. And you have to be quiet. You have to figure out how to reclaim pieces of yourself and reclaim parts of yourself, redefine yourself, because you'll never be the same. You'll never be exactly the same. And I think once you accept those things, that you're not going to be the same person before these events happen. And I've been sexually abused a lot. And another hard part was just admitting it for me. Like, some people get sexually abused and they know it happened to them. For me, it was like, I can't face this. I want to block this out. I want to act like it didn't happen. And that became so toxic and rotten for me. Like, it was like, I don't know, it's just like almost like a it was it was death inside of me for denying that it was happening. Like, it caused problems within me having healthy relationships and um loving myself, period. Like, I've been saying, like, it just made me feel like I was nothing, like I was worthless. Like, men all the time, like literally I've had all kind of calibers of men approach me and want to, court me, and literally, like, doctors and lawyers, and that's just based on status, because to me, I do not vet men based on what job they do. Baby, you can have a doctor that's crazy. Yep, he can fund your whole fucking life, but he'll treat you like shit. Like, so to me, I do not base a high value man actually off of what he makes. I value men off of character. I literally look at you as, you could have motherfucking character, you can have hustle, and you can provide us with the life that we need just from you and me being together. Because if you got all that and you actually got the determination and, the vision, like, baby, I'm gonna gas you up. Like, I'm gonna make sure we gonna both do this. Like, we both gonna live our dreams. So I never really value men off of that, but however society does. And I just want to say that I've had all kind of caliber of men, like great men, not just by status, but I've had men of higher status, or what women call high value men. And I never felt good enough for them. Like, it didn't matter whether that man came from the projects and he just was, like, he changed his life around, and that man was an entrepreneur and, like, actually fit my fucking, because that's my prototype. Like you're the prototype, the hood nigga that made it. And like, I literally would not feel good enough, because I feel like, I have these moments of outbursts and anger, or just not feeling good. Like, it's an up and down day for me. Like, and I distract myself. I was distracting myself with work and staying busy and all that stuff. But once I come home, if I'm not asleep, or if I'm not focused on my child, or if I'm not focused on pleasing you, like, that's when my shit starts to come in, because it's like I don't have nothing to distract me of my issues. And so I always knew that about myself. So typically when nice guys like me, even in school, like, I met so many nice guys that like me, but I was scared to be with them, because I'm like, I'm gonna hurt you, and I didn't want to take what I was going through out on them. So I typically would pick men who knew pain, who knew struggle, and I would deal with them, because it's like, well, we're gonna do this shit to each other, because we understand, like, where it's coming from. So we're not gonna be so easily offended by it. We're gonna know that that's our shit, and it's just a projection. So I'm thankful, though, that God has afforded me the support mentally to come back to self and to heal. And it's a process. It's a process, and a lot of us want to get through that process quick. Like, I've been working on this since I was a kid. I've been praying for this since I was a kid. Like, if that makes sense, that's how long I've been working on this journey of healing. Even on the journey of healing and finding myself, I have gotten re-abused, and it's not to now. It's like, this is not happening anymore. Like, and the reason it can't happen anymore is because I love and care about myself. I'm not going to allow it to happen anymore. I'm going to protect me. I have other people to protect me, and I have God that walks with me. Jesus walks with me. All spirit squad, all like, walks with me. And but number one and foremost, like, I'm gonna protect me now. I've also learned how to verbalize for myself. I didn't realize that, like, I'm a very verbal person, but when I'm having my moments, like, where it's not even have to be a moment where I'm feeling triggered. Let's just say, like, I don't know if other sexually abused people feel this way, or people who were, physically abused, all that. Like, I literally used to have these bouts where I was just sad, and I couldn't explain why I was sad. I couldn't explain what was wrong with me, or anything. And I would have these bouts when I was angry, and I did not have the words to say, I'm angry because, and I'm a very verbal person. And it's like now I can identify, like I can literally feel these feelings coming, and I can be like, oh well, I feel like this because this. And then that allows me to process why I'm feeling that way. What can I do to help myself right now in this moment? And you know, realizing that this might come up for me again, but the more and more and more and more and more and more I process it and sit with it and deal with it, the less and less it needs attention, because we're healing when we do that. And me acknowledging it is just helping that part of me that needs to express itself. um and I'm learning I don't have to project that shit on nobody. But I lived in a house where it was just constantly like people's emotion was constantly projected on me. Even I'm now currently living in the same house. It's a different house, but it's the same person that I grew up with. And it's like I'm full circle now. And I done figured it out. I done figured it out. Like, that doesn't mean that she don't trigger me, but it just means that I ain't gonna let her see she triggering me. And for certain shit, I do need the what? I gotta speak up for myself. Hey, look, we ain't doing that. And then certain other stuff is like, be miserable, bitch. Like, be miserable. That's what you want to do. Be miserable. Like, you ain't gonna make me miserable. It's just like today, my cousin's husband passed away, and I know that has to be hard. Just from my part of my experience, she was with her husband like since I was a kid, so I know that that's hard. And I didn't want to go to the funeral because I don't deal with all the family members. But however, her and her siblings, I love them to death, and you know for me personally, it's about me protecting my peace. And then today also was the day Dante passed away. So it's those numbers, man. But like I wanted to send my condolences and all that, but it was funny because I got to see when her husband died how my mom was able to handle this situation with so much care and compassion, but she couldn't even do it for her own daughter. When Dante died, it was Thanksgiving Day for us, and it was the 23rd, and I could never forget it because I could never forget the scream and the pain I felt. Like, I still can hear that shit. I don't feel the pain, but I still can hear the scream. But if I look back, I can feel the pain. And but the scream I let out once I heard that he had passed away, and it was like she wanted to keep cooking Thanksgiving dinner and tried to get nasty about what my food is on. And I hope you don't think I'm going. So literally, me and Charlotte had to get in the car while I was driving. And I'm just breaking down crying. I don't even know how I got there. I think whatever spirit came into play and took over and drove, because I literally was breaking down in the car on the highway. So, literally remember somebody, talking to me. I was like, you don't need to be driving when you crying like that. Like, you might need to pull over. And I was just like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just going to get over there. So not only did that happen, once I get back home to my house, I got gas in my house and all that shit, mud all in my goddamn house. I'm pissed off about that shit. And the department ain't even mine no more. But goddamn, take your shoes off at the door, shit. And sometimes I'll forget at other people's houses and stuff if they don't have like a carpet or whatever like that. But goddamn, definitely if you know it was raining, like. Sometimes I don't even trip if it ain't raining, but I would prefer for you to take your shoes off. But that shit piss me off. I don't know. What else? But yeah, like when I got back, she was being nasty. She was saying smart, rude remarks. She even told me she was happy he was dead. And I had to tell her to get the fuck out of my house. I sure the fuck did. Like, and I didn't cuss. I just told her, you gotta go home. Like, you gotta go. And she did. She didn't go that night, but she left the next morning, I think. And like, that shit was wild. Like, and she said other stuff too that was very hurtful. And like, why would you do that? Like, and so Then the funeral, she didn't even go with me to the funeral. Literally a ex-friend went, and one of me and Dante's mutual, like our neighbor. So literally, when I say I don't be having support, like literally didn't have the support I do now. Like I'm very supported. Um Physically, I don't have anyone for real besides my daughter. I do have my brother, but he's more on the introverted side, so. And then I'm just so used to going throughout life with holding everything in that, that's why I'm talking now, because I had to hold so much shit in. Like, that's another, like, a trauma response. So, like, once you finally get free of the abuse, like, you can't shut up. You just want to tell everybody. And, you need safe people to talk to. So some people tell you, like, shh, don't talk about it, and it's like, be careful. No, you should very much take advantage of yourself expelling all of that. Just make sure you find a safe space. For me, these videos are my safe space. I have grown so thick of a skin. I don't give a fuck what comment somebody put underneath my post. If I choose to respond to it, I choose to respond to it. If I don't want to respond to it, I don't want to respond to it. If I want to delete that shit, I would delete that shit. Literally, I do have alligator skin over here, but I am a sensitive soul. So be careful, because even if I don't check you, I will pray to my ancestors, and they watching anyway. So if they feel me, get hurt, they feel a tear come down my eye, play safe. So be careful when you comment, or you even, think you're doing something behind my back. Be careful. Play nice. No, don't play nice. Play kind. But yeah, like, she literally, she called her and had so sweet of a voice and so much compassion, and I'm not jealous. I'm happy she did call her, but like, a part of me felt like, well, damn, I'm your own daughter, and you tried to make me feel worse while I was already grieving. Even used to tell me, like, don't bring him up when I would feel sad about him being gone. So yep, I watched her get ready for the funeral, drive, all the way to go and stuff like that. That's not why I didn't go to the funeral. It's not on the jealousy stuff. It's just that today is my day to process my own feelings, and I really have a short fuse today. So it's other family members that's probably gonna be there that I don't want to fake no smile for, because bitch, I don't like you. Nigga, I don't like you. Bitch, I don't like you. I don't know who's gonna be there, all that's gonna be there, but I do know some that was gonna be there that I don't fucking like, and I don't feel like dealing with it, and I'm not gonna fake a grin, and I'm not gonna be disrespectful at a funeral. So it was probably best for Latifah to stay at home. And but like I said, I was able to observe she has the capacity to be loving and compassionate, just not for me. And I guess maybe because she don't have to deal with them, she can fake it for them. But for me, she just can't even fake it for me. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank you for making me stronger, and thank you for making me realize that I don't have to look back once I leave. And she did that anyway, period, point blank, before we even got to this point. But she did that anyway. But I guess she be just keep banging her goddamn nail in the coffin, gonna tell me today, oh, well, I hope that God makes her day easier. Like, bitch, who said my day was hard? It's like, so you go try to assume my day was hard. Like, my day's not hard. I found peace in his death. Like, it gave me understanding of death and gave me more understanding of life. Like, just because I said I don't want to go to the funeral don't mean my day hard. That means I'm respecting my peace. I'm respecting my boundaries. I'm taking space for me, which I know is a problem for you, but you're just gonna have to get over it. And so then she tried to, like, she does things that, like, and a lot of narcissists do, right? They do these little things that they know how to push your button, and they trying to get energy out of you. They trying to get any type of energy out of you that they can. And so yeah, that was something she said. Well, I wouldn't, because I said I didn't want to go because other people were going to be there. I wouldn't let nobody else steal my joy or, no, control me or something like that. I was like, I'm not. That's why I ain't going, because I would have to respect the funeral and suck that shit up. And I'm not doing that. Like, so the control is that this is my boundary and this is where I'm staying today. Like, but she tried to do that to push my button because she's trying to basically say I don't have control over myself. And it's okay. I done made it to the promised land. In my head, it might not have manifested 3D wise, but baby, it's not to say she can't trigger me at all, but it's to say that I see right through every little trick and scheme she has. And yeah, she can activate some shit in me real quick, and then I'd be like, you know what, return to sender, or you can't get this energy. Like, you better find your own. Like, go harvest it somewhere else. Get on that phone. Talk to those people you talk to all day long. Then they talk about nothing but everybody else besides themselves. But that's just how things are going. For me, it's growth for me. It's not perfection, it's growth. And I'm enjoying it. I want to shout out Dante. If don't nobody else love you, I do. So I'm gonna remember you today. I already posted about you today, and yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. And y'all have a good rest of your day. I think I am about to do a video on music, and then I'm probably gonna chill and work on my puzzle, which usually I could do a puzzle like in a couple of hours, but that one I've been sitting with it. I ain't even got the edges done. So I'm gonna try to get that done today. Just do something creative. And it's actually a puzzle with cardinals. So when he passed, like, cardinals just kept coming to visit me. And even as a kid, like, cardinals is a state bird, and I always liked cardinals too. But in the spiritual world, cardinals is a loved one who passed. And that cardinal I used to be, I mean, I don't know if it was the same cardinal every day, but it felt like it. And like, he literally, when I would go walk the dog, like, he literally like would be flying around. I'm gonna say he, because the females I think are tan, which I learned that last year. I was like, oh. And I literally would come outside. Some days he would be on the car or like right at my bush. And when I walk the dog, he's in the bush, and it's like, where's Waldo? So like, I found comfort in seeing the red bird, the cardinal, when I would come outside. And during that time I was deep in the grief, like, literally, what was I gonna do without my person? And you know, I know that God has a plan for everything, and I find peace with that. And I am loved by someone. So, by many someones. But I am loved by someone, and I love that for myself. And I've learned to keep some things to myself. Not because no longer that I'm scared someone else is gonna take it, but it's just like, some of y'all need to mind y'all goddamn business. But until then, if you're one of the people who are going through recovery of being extremely abused as adults or as children or both, be patient with yourself. It literally is a process, and you will eventually get to a point where you feel confident in yourself, and growing is something we all do over time, if you are literally trying to be a better person and the best version of yourself. So like, we're all that are doing that are going through these constant growths. However, I will say it does get better and better the more you work at it and work at it. But you always constantly learning. But learning and growth sometimes are two different things. Sometimes growth is just acceptance. Acceptance that this happened and that this person is this person. And for me, my growth was learning to cut people the fuck off. Like, it don't matter whether they family, what, if they are detrimental to your mental health, to your spirit, let them go. Let them be right where they want to be at, because that's not where you're supposed to be at. And if you keep hanging on to them, you're not gonna go where you go. You need to go. So cut them off. If your healing journey is about you going to self-love, which mine was as well, it's hard to self-love if you're constantly connected to the people who are teaching you not to love and value yourself and to prioritize them over you. So some of these things go hand in hand. But I'm out of here because I don't want to talk you to death. Enjoy your good Saturday. I think I'm going to make a video on music, because music saved my life when I was a kid. So I'm going to do that one.